Howdy, folks. How y'all doing today? Yeah. Good. You guys excited?
Yeah!
Well, my name is James. This here is Nick. We will be doing your cannon firing demonstration for you today. First off, I'd like to talk a little bit about what I am wearing. This is the common undress uniform for a typical United States Army soldier in the 1880s. We specifically are portraying the 23rd Infantry, Company E. Now, Companies E and K were stationed here at Fort Mackinac between the years of 1884 and 1890. Now, a little bit about this big cannon behind me. This is a model 1841 6-pound smooth-bore field gun. That's a pretty long name. Most soldiers would just call it a 6-pounder. It's referring to the size of the weight of the cannonball. Now, if you're paying attention to the date of this cannon versus the date that we're portraying, 1841 versus the mid to late 1880s, there's a pretty sizable time difference between them. There's a couple reasons for that. 40 years is a long time. If you think about it, most of you aren't driving 40-year-old cars around. If you are, I might consider investing in a new one. Now, there's a reason that the soldiers back then had such an old, dated cannon. Now, at the time in the 1880s, Fort Mackinac served as the United States' second national park. Yes, we were a national park for 20 years between 1875 and 1895. Now, as a national park, we were not a hot spot for battle. Most of the time, the battles were happening out west at this point. Up here at the Straits of Mackinac was not really a great spot for people fighting. So, having a dated cannon like this was not a bad thing. For the most part, the soldiers at Fort Mackinac would use it for what are known as salute shots. That's the same type of thing we'll be doing today. A salute shot is where they use the same amount of gunpowder, but there's no cannonball being fired. It's completely safe. There's not going to be anything shooting out into the bay. There's nothing actually exiting the cannon. Now, these salute shots were used for things such as marking the beginning and the end of the workday with reveille and then retreat at the end of the day. They were also used on holidays such as the 4th of July and what is known as Decoration Day. Does anyone know what Decoration Day is called nowadays? Not quite Christmas.
July. New Year.
Think more patriotic.
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, yes. Decoration Day back then is known as Memorial Day now, coming up in a couple days here. Now, another interesting thing about this cannon is it's a smooth-bore cannon. Does anyone know the difference between smooth-bore and rifling? Anyone?
Rifling has engraves that spiral around so that it fires straighter.
Yes. How many of you have thrown a football before? You know how when you throw a football, you want that good spiral? It gets it right where it's trying to go? It's the same idea with something that's got rifling. It's got grooves on the inside that spins the ammunition, and it makes it fire accurately. Now, something like this does not have that. It's smooth on the inside, which means when the ammunition is fired out of it, it rattles around in the barrel, whichever side it's going to, or whatever side it hits last, that's the direction it's going to. It's not very accurate, but yet again, there wasn't a need for it to be. This cannon had a maximum range of about a mile, which is about out to the shores of Round Island out there, but functionally, it could mostly make it to about the wave breakers of the bay. Now, we're going to go over a couple safety things, then we're going to fire that cannon for you. Who's excited? Woo! Yeah! All right, going over the process of loading a little bit. I have the easiest job. Nick is going to do all the hard work over here. I'm going to do what's called thumb stalling. I'm going to put my thumb over this hole here, and that's all I have to do. Nick here is going to take this thing known as an auger. He's going to send that down the barrel of the cannon. He's going to spin it around a couple times and pull it out. He's making sure there's no debris left over in the cannon from the last time we fired. Next thing he's going to grab is this sponge here. He's going to dip it in a little water. It's just sheep's wool on the end of a long pole. And he's going to send that down the barrel, and that's going to make sure to extinguish any fires. It's also going to cause a vacuum, because one of the things that a fire needs is oxygen. Putting that out, that collapses the vacuum. The next thing he's going to grab is our charge. Now, the charge we're using today looks a little different than what they would have used back in the 1880s. This is 6 ounces of black powder wrapped in tin foil. Back in the day, they would have used something like muslin or another type of fabric. That unfortunately would cause some fiery debris into Marquette Park. I'm sure the city wouldn't be too pleased with us if we had that. And he ran that down with a ramrod, making sure it's right in its place. Then my job is done. I can take my thumb off that hole. Next thing he's going to grab is what's known as a gimlet. It's a little pick, a little bronze pick. He's going to send that down the hole. That's going to create a little hole inside that charge. And when the next thing he puts in, it's known as a friction primer. Thank you. The friction primer is a little brass tube that's got gunpowder on the inside. That goes down that hole, and he's going to attach a lanyard to that. When he pulls the lanyard, that's going to ignite a spark and send a little flame down that gunpowder in the tube into our charge, and that's what's going to make the big boom for you today, folks. All right, let me remind you that this is a real cannon, although we will not be shooting any cannonballs, but it will be very loud still. I recommend you either cover your ears with your historically accurate earplugs, your fingertips, or press record on your cannon, or press record on your phone, excuse me, whichever you prioritize more in life. And with that, there's only 2 commands left to give, and that is, ready, fire! There you are!
Come on,
I hope you all enjoy.